You know, oftentimes when we talk about learning Scripture, we hear this phrase, hey, do you have book, chapter, and verse for that? Well, what that often meant is, are you basing what you believe on Scripture? But have you thought about that phrase, book, chapter, and verse? You realize that for centuries, our early foremothers and forefathers in the faith, they couldn't have said book, chapter, and verse because there were no verse divisions. There were no chapter divisions. The problem with book, chapter, and verse is sometimes you get a snapshot of a situation, but you do not get the big picture. If you've been to church any length of time and have taken the Lord's Supper, you've heard someone say, let's turn to 1 Corinthians 11, verse 23, book, chapter, and verse, and it begins, for I received from the Lord that which I also delivered to you. But if it's chapter 11, that's pretty deep into the book. If it's verse 23, obviously it's deep into the chapter. So if we start right there, we might actually miss the power of why Paul brings up the Lord's Supper anyway. You see, the Apostle Paul loved the Corinthian church, but they were divided and they weren't meeting their potential. And for some reason, Paul believed that how they took the Lord's Supper had everything to do with turning that church around. I'm excited that we're going to study this Sunday morning. So come a little early, bring a friend, and let's study 1 Corinthians chapter 11 this Sunday morning. We'll see you then.